and welcome to my channel. I am ZodiacBandit, and today I want to talk about a theory that I came up with. So, with everything that's happened in the last handful of episodes, so if you're not caught up to episode 37 of Campaign 3, click off. This involves Laudna and Delilah's separation, and what will happen to Laudna if they are truly separated. Because as of episode 37, they defeated Delilah, and they have now been pulled out of this dreamscape by Pike completely. The whole group has. And they're to wake up on her floor within the next episode. So, if she did get fully separated from Delilah, that means she is no longer going to have a warlock patron. Now, there could be a handful of reasons Pike chose to pull them out, but I highly doubt Orem or FCG suggested to do so, because they didn't quite know what was going on. They were the first two eliminated from the whole situation, so they wouldn't have been able to necessarily say with confidence whether they were going to win or not. So they wouldn't have told Pike, pull them out. They would have likely said, wait a second. So what else could it have been that pulled all of them out? Why would Pike have told them to pull them out? I believe, now, there's a bunch of speculation to be had here. First off, we don't know how long they were in the dreamscape. They could have been in it for a couple minutes, a couple hours, a couple days. We don't know. But with everything sort of surrounding Ruidus, I believe Ruidus was likely acting up. And with FCG and Orem both being out, they would have been able to see it. They would have been able to tell Vex that this is bad, and they would have been able to tell Pike, wake them up. So, what does that have to do with anything? Well, with Ruidus acting up, and with them all being woken up, they might look to just revive Laudna right now, because it might be important that she comes back right now. So, she could be reborn, or brought back to life, under Ruidus, making her a Ruidus born. Therefore, her new warlock patron is Ruidus. Now, there's a bunch of reasons why that's kind of silly, but if you want to look at it in certain ways of, we don't have a defined definition of what constitutes being Ruidus born. Do you have to be born under it? Can you be reborn under it? Can you be brought back to life under it? Who knows? We don't know these things yet. We haven't gone to EOS to look into these things more. So, why can't she be reborn or brought back to life under Ruidus? And if she is fully separated from Delilah, she will be reborn. So there's a good point, question of, will she come back as human? Will she come back as a hollow one once more? We don't know. So if she comes back as human, I could see Ruidus born even further in favor. But there's one more thing that I want to sort of bring up within this discussion. And that is the actions Imogen took within this dreamscape. Whatever realm this was. She activated more of Ruidus' power. She did something, we're not quite sure, that she claimed was calling upon Ruidus. So, strange. This whole thing just, she says it, she takes some damage, and then she blasts Delilah with it. Or she blasts the tree with it. So, we don't know where this dreamscape was. But there's a good chance it was within the psyche or within a sort of realm created by Delilah that influences Laudna. So if she called upon Ruidus within this realm, Ruidus can then potentially do what Ruidus does within Imogen inside Laudna now, as this was a inside the mind or dreamscape of Laudna. So now Ruidus can attach itself to Laudna, and this could be good for a multitude of reasons. First of all, now we don't need to go through a handful of episodes of, we've got Laudna back, but she's powerless because she doesn't have a warlock patron. We can skip that now and just go right into, she has a new warlock patron, and it's Ruidus. And it's good for another reason, that being, she is now fully connected to Ruidus, like a handful of other characters are connected to this whole Ruidus plot, which seems to be the main plot. So it would be a good idea to connect more characters to Ruidus. It makes Ruidus far more important, even though it's already the main plot, because now it adds another character to it, and we get to move on from Delilah. Moving on from Delilah will be a good thing because we get to cement this campaign as its own thing now. We get to continue on and slowly shed references from Campaign 1 that have been kind of very connected to the main campaign or certain characters. So slowly taking these references and getting rid of them, allowing characters to come into their own, will be a good thing, as I know plenty of people don't necessarily like how heavy-handed some of these references are. So getting rid of Delilah will be a good thing. So making Ruidus is an all sort of encompassing solution to Laudna. Laudna becoming a Ruidus born or reborn under Ruidus. And there's a ton of other sort of media that have used this reborn thing to be a part of a prophecy or whatever. So I don't think it's too much of a stretch to be like, hey, you can be reborn under Ruidus, or even brought back to life under Ruidus. I think it's totally plausible that this could make you a Ruidus born, and it could honestly lead to a lot of other characters being potentially classified as such, who weren't when they were first born. So I think that opens up a bunch of more possibilities of who could be Ruidus born, because you could be Ruidus born, Ruidus reborn, or Ruidus revived. Kind of weird to say. I think Ruidus reborn would be more like you swear an oath under Ruidus and now you're connected to it, kind of like Jon Snow in Game of Thrones underneath the shooting star meteorite thing in season 1, or was it season 2, I forget. And then, being revived under Ruidus, also connecting you to Ruidus because you were brought back from the dead. I think it's possible. I think it's, like I said, opens up a bunch of possibilities. And we get to skip the whole I have to go find a new Warlock patron sort of story, which we already kind of got with Ford in Campaign 2. So, all around, Ruidus is the ultimate catch-all, much like the Force in Star Wars. Anything happens in Star Wars, the Force did it. Anything happens in Campaign 3, we can blame Ruidus. I think that's perfect. I think that'd be a great way to sort of end this mini arc happening with Laudna and continue moving toward the main goal, which is this Apogee Solstice and Ruidus collision. So, very excited for that. Hopefully, this comes true, because that'd be cool for one of my theories to happen. Thank you all for watching. As of this week, yesterday, Monday, the 17th of October, it has been 1 year since I started making all these videos. So that's very exciting and very cool for me. I've very much appreciated all of you coming along on this crazy journey, and I appreciate all those who stick around and continue to watch, and as we grow, I think it'd be really cool for, that eventual, because the number, first of all, 360, whatever we're at right now, is crazy. Think about it this way. If 300 people were in a room staring at you, you would be intimidated. Like, it doesn't seem like a big number, but I've been in a room with 100 people staring at me, and it's intimidating as shit. So, times that by 3, and that's what I have subscribed to me. I typically get more views than that, which is also fucking awesome and crazy. I can't believe that. So, great. So yeah, it's just unbelievable to me, all this. So, excited to move forward. And next week, I'm going to start a new, I don't want to say ranking series, because it's not going to be a ranking series. I'm going to be discussing arcs in the previous 2 campaigns. I want to talk about which campaign or which arcs I think are going to be, like, which arcs I think are the best and which arcs I think are the worst. And I'm going to go through all of them, because there's only 5 in the first one, and I think there's 5 or 6 in the second campaign. So, it'd be really easy to go through it and talk about each of them. Obviously, I'm not going to go, like, super in-depth with each arc, but I'm going to be talking about as much as I can. And I'm going to start with Campaign 1, which will be next Monday's video. And then I think next week is the break, so that Friday will also be that video for Campaign 2. So we'll be able to kill 2 birds with 1 stone with that. So yeah, That's next week's programming. See you guys Friday for the recap of episode 38. Peace.